Arsenal get it done. This was not like the 7 Premier League games before. This was stress. This was anxiety. This was a title race. This was a title race match. This was a match in which you looked at Arsenal and suddenly things weren't going all for us. We weren't 5-0 up at half-time. We weren't scoring from our set pieces. We weren't playing against a team that just didn't look like they had a clue. Brentford actually came, had a really good go, and I'll give them credit. This was an Arsenal side that, fair play, got 1-0 up inside the first 20 minutes. Again, Declan Rice stepping up as a box-to-box midfielder, getting into really good attacking areas and getting goals. It's great to see him adding that to his game. Ben White with a brilliant assist. And Arsenal started to go through the motions at this point. We were playing well, we were dominating, we had control. But we weren't scintillated. We didn't like we were going to score with every attack. And I wonder if Arsenal kind of knew that Brentford were quite sensible. They were in a good shape. And that we had to pick our moments rather than try to be totally relentless. Or maybe we were just stifled by a really good Brentford side, I don't know. But come that sort of, we say head injury, I think it was. And then obviously we settle, we just need to get to half time. And Ramsdale with a really big error. Now you can see I'm talking about this game in order of moments because there's bigger things to talk about, like the Kai Havertz winner. I'll get to all that. But the next big thing that happens in this game is the Aaron Ramsdale error. Now on the watch along, I took a minute. I took a minute to just soak it in, and my brain just goes, all right. You know the goalkeepers are asked to play out the back. You know they're asked to take risks. You know they're asked to invite a pressure to a degree and then execute it. So how harsh do you want to be on Aaron Ramsdale for this? And my conclusion was very, very. It was awful. There's a lot of words slightly more inappropriate than awful I could use, but we'll stick with the word awful. It was a terrible moment for Aaron Ramsdale. At that point, had shown really good distribution. His throwing was fantastic, and his passing, looked a bit nervy at times, but largely no problem. The reason that moment was so stupid from Aaron Ramsdale. For any of you who haven't seen it, you would have seen it. The ball comes back to him, and he takes a touch, but it's not a great touch, and he takes so long to eventually release. And when he goes to, Visa makes the tackle and it goes into the back of his own net. And the reason it's so poor for Aaron Ramsdale is because, for me, there are pressure points in games where generally across the 90 minutes you're going to have your tactics. We play out the back, we invite pressure, we press, we this, we that. But there are always moments in the game. Just watch a team, any team you watch. They know the first minute or two of a game, the last minute or two of a half, and the same for the second half. You just have to get through them because they can be too much of a trendsetter for what comes next. They are two important moments. By two, I mean TOO. They are too important as moments for us to basically not compromise on our principle for the sake of just getting over the line. Now, Arsenal in the past have conceded goals really early in games, whether it be Fulham, Southampton, Bournemouth. And Arsenal, I think I've learned, and you can see we're a little bit safer in the opening 2-3 minutes of games now. But Ramsdale needed to recognise we're on the brink of half-time, like we were against Liverpool, and the error crept up there. We need to just be simple. We need to just get rid of the ball. We need to recognise that we are still going to play out the back. We are still going to take risks. We are still going to express ourselves at 1-0 up. But within a minute or two of half-time isn't the moment to do that. And I'm really disappointed, not at Ramsdale's lack of execution. That can happen. We can make a mistake. But the pure decision-making in that moment. And I have to talk about it. It might be the last time we see him in an Arsenal shirt. It might be the last time we see him at the Emirates. And he has been a fantastic goalkeeper for us. But it was a really poor moment. And I did want to talk about it. But I will say, came up with two massive saves. And people will talk about Ivan Toney and the effort from distance saying, yeah, well, Ramsdale should never be beaten for them. No, because this is when I go back to my thinking and that minute of thinking I took just before the error that he did make that we said took advantage of, where I'm looking at that going, you don't make that error. But with the positioning for the Toney effort, Arsenal play with their goalkeepers high up the pitch. It's always the case. You saw when that ball went into Mopé, that ball in behind, Ramsdale comes and sweeps and gets rid of it. How many times did Raya just sweep against, I think it was Sheffield United and against Newcastle? They have to play with a high position. So the chance you take is that someone might attempt one from distance, but you've got the recovery room and Ramsdale makes a really good save, and then he does from a headed effort as well. So he probably made up for it, Ramsdale, with two really big saves, keeping Arsenal in the game at 1-1. And then, of course, the big moment. Because the second half, we had a period from minute maybe 55 to 65 where Arsenal looked on it again. Suddenly we were just asking questions, corner after corner, overlaps, underlaps, shots getting blocked. And you look at it going, okay, Arsenal in the ascendancy here. But then it kind of just petered out. Suddenly, from minute 70 to 82, didn't really look like we could do much. Didn't really look like we could throw a punch. Didn't really look like we could keep them penned in. And everything was just a little bit nervy, a little bit forced, a little bit, going through the motions. What do we do? No one wants to give the ball away. No one wants to make that error. But then the big moment comes on minute, 85, 86, 87. And it comes from that triangle that I feel when Arsenal need a goal, suddenly everything, the ball just gets sucked to that area of the pitch. Ødegaard, Ben White and Saka. And there's constant combinations, whether it be Ødegaard hugging the touchline so Saka can dart an underlap, or he'll hug the touchline so Ben White can make a dart, or both Ødegaard and Saka will come inside so that Ben White can go the other way, and that's what happens with the winner. Really good football, but then they pick out the pass, and it's constant. Those triangles, watch them. If you watch that game back, watch the last 20, 25 minutes back, every time we get the ball to the right-hand side, those three are constantly alternating positions in the triangle, and it's meant to make life really difficult for Brentford, who don't know whether the wing-back's coming in with Saka, whether they're just hugging the widest player, whether they're moving, whatever it might be. But eventually, we put it together, and Ben White, with his second brilliant cross of the game and second assist, gets a massive, massive moment for Kai Havertz, who heads it. You know what I love about the header? It's going to sound like I'm taking away from when I say it was straight at the keeper. But what I mean by that, it was on target. Power, get on target, and you can see the keeper just has to fall back into it, and it goes into the back of the net, and Havertz gets another match-winning goal and big moment in an Arsenal shirt. I'm really happy for him. It's 4 goals in 4. He is, for me, loving life as a centre-forward, and I think that's where he plays his best forward. His best forward. We can still drop into midfield and have a part to play, but I think he looks really good when he leads the line, and I'm really happy for Kai Havertz. I have been a major critic of this signing. Am I prepared to sit here and say, yeah, we've got £65 million worth? No, I don't think I'm quite there yet. Am I willing to say, James, you were really wrong to look at this player and think he wasn't going to contribute massively this season, and to doubt Arteta having a plan for this guy? Yeah. You've got to look at it and go, he has been a part of an Arsenal team that have put 8 wins in a row. I think he started in every single one of those games. I'm pretty sure he has. He's now getting loads of goals in those as well. And there's more conviction about what he's doing. And you can see where he's there for the link-up. He's either a wall to play off for other midfielders, or he's a target in the area. And now he's actually someone that is getting on the end of crosses into the box and having moments like that as well. So it's really, really good to see. And he works bloody hard and he really tries. And you can see that actually, as that game was petering out in the last... Not petering out, but I mentioned that we lost a little bit of momentum. It felt to me like Kai Havertz was the one saying... With a few others, Ødegaard always wanted the ball, Saka, White, but he was definitely one of them going, yeah, I'll take the ball and I'm going to try to be brave and I'll try and make things happen. It was good to see. Final shout-outs go to Gabriel and Saliba. They're so aggressive against Toney, who had his moments, Toney. He's a good player, no doubt, but he got bullied by those two. I thought Saliba and Gabriel were immense, especially Gabriel on a yellow card, but Saliba was so aggressive, just flooring Toney. It was great to watch. I'm sure the Emirates crowd absolutely loved it. And of course, the big thing about this, and the reason this game is so big, was because we couldn't fumble the opportunity to go top of the league for the first time since December 26th. That's gone through the whole of January and February on the back foot here. 8 wins in a row. We finally clawed ourselves to the top. Now, we might not be there by the end of the weekend, but we've given ourselves a chance, and we're there over Saturday night. So go enjoy it, Gooners. Catch you in a bit.